Good morning, you're watching CNN News 18 with me, Vandana Sebastian Bawa. Our top story this hour. With just 4 days to go for the elections in Bihar, jobs is in focus in battleground Bihar. Lok Janshakti Party Chief Chirag Paswan kept up his attack on Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, this time over the alcohol ban in the state. Paswan reasoned that the rise in smuggling of alcohol in the state was due to an increase in unemployment. He said people in the state are being labelled as smugglers in the name of the liquor ban. Remember, alcohol was banned in the state in 2016, months after Nitish was elected as the Chief Minister. Well, bringing in our political editor Maria Shakil, who joins us live from Patna for more details. Maria, Nitish Kumar is up against a lot. Prohibition hasn't had the kind of impact on the ground as he would have hoped. He's also battling anti-incumbency, the economic crisis that the state is battling on account of the corona pandemic, and large-scale unemployment.
Yes, and but the advantage that he has is the broad caste equation that is with him. That is of the BJP, JDU and the other smaller parties, that is the HAM of Jitan Ram Manji and VIP party of Mukesh Sahni. So their base at which they begin is almost double of what the Mahagathbandhan parties are. So that is the advantage with which Nitish Kumar is operating from. Let's not forget that this is what Bihar is, that it is a caste-driven society where voting is on caste lines. When we talk about issues of unemployment, when we talk that Tejasvi is promising jobs, when we talk about how liquor ban or prohibition may have gone horribly wrong, let's not forget that there are people who say Nitish Kumar is a chief minister who has delivered on multiple counts. He may have failed in the last few years, but do we have an option? The question is, has Tejasvi Yadav emerged as that option? His rallies are drawing a lot of crowd and there is a lot of euphoria and energy in his crowds. But again, as I've been saying, BJP, JDU have that caste base advantage based on the calculation of the 2015 and 2019 elections. So that is why when we see that he is up against a lot, yes, Nitish Kumar is up against a lot. There are parties raising the question of unemployment. There is anger which is palpable on ground. But is the anger strong enough for people to vote him out? That we'll know about only on 10th. Again, is that anger enough for people to see hope in Tejasvi Yadav, a young leader, 31-year-old, who is talking about Nitish being fatigued, Nitish Kumar thak gaye hain? We'll know about it only on 10th.
But how, what kind of an impact is the youth factor that Tejasvi Yadav has been harping on likely to have in these elections? Yesterday in his rally, Mara, he also pointed to the fact that both the Prime Minister and Nitish Kumar are 70 years old. He quite candidly went on to say that there's a difference of 2 generations between them and the young voters. What kind of an impact is this likely to have?
Yes. Vandana, look, Vandana, can you just get the audio fixed because there is a bad echo in my ear?
All right, we'll just try and, get that audio fixed for Maria. But before that, let's take a look at this report that Maria filed when she travelled to Muzaffarpur to do a reality check on whether Bihar is really a dry state.
I am in Muzaffarpur district of Bihar with a group of women voters to give you a sense of what will decide the vote of women voters of Bihar. Because let's not forget, election after election, Nitish Kumar had created this caste-neutral constituency. Are these women voters going back to their respective caste? Are they unhappy with the decision taken by Nitish Kumar of prohibition in 2015? मुझे ये बताइए सबसे पहले, शराबबंदी जो नीतीश कुमार ने शुरू किया, उससे फायदा हुआ या नुकसान?
पिए वाला के घर माने बेचे वाला के आबाद हो रहा है, पिए वाला बर्बाद हो रहा है, लोग देख रहा है तमाशा, ताली मार रहा है, सही बात, सबके बाल बच्चा बिलल्ला हो रहा है, बिलट रहा है, कमा के आता है, बस खाना में चल जाता है, बाल बच्चा के खाना दे चाहे न दे।
क्या हुआ था शराबबंदी से? फायदा नुकसान क्या हुआ?
हर नुकसाने है, कहाँ फायदा है शराबबंदी से? हम लोग के तो और दिखते हैं, कारोबार में भी दिखते हैं, कहाँ कुछ है?
शराबबंदी से होला कि से और शराब पाँच वाला बंद होला या जमहरुआ और चालू हो गई, घर घर चोरी से बिका रहा या
मरद से घुस घुस के पी रहा है।
सो चोरी वाला अब ज्यादा हो रहा है।
तब एगो से स्माइल सब घरे घरे बेच रहा है।
तो पुलिस आता है, रुपया ले लेता है, घूस दे देता है, और पार्टी में घुसिया लेता है, पुलिस वाले के चल जाता है।
जो बॉर्डर पार नहीं करेगा तो दारू यहाँ कहाँ से आ जाएगा? बॉर्डर पार कराता है प्रशासन लोग या विधायक लोग, नेता लोग, तभी ना दारू यहाँ पहुँचता है। तो लोग पीता है तो इधर उधर खहेट के प्रशासन से मारता है, पकड़ के ले जाता है, उसको जेल में ठूसता है। वहाँ से दारू एवे नहीं करेगा तो पिएगा कहाँ से?
पीने वाला पकड़ाता है,
बेचने वाला बचता है, वो पैसा देता है, वो बच जाता है, पीने वाला को पकड़ को जेल में करता है।
लड़का सब आता है कमा करके, जा करके पी लेता है। हम लोग को खर्ची, जैसे खर्चा के लिए 100 150 दे दिए, 100 150 में आजकल होता नहीं है, जो क्या करें या नहीं करें, जो बचता है सो पी जाता है।
घर बर्बाद यही ना हो कि हाँ बंद भेल दारू शराब, तो बंद होए के मतलब कि साफे बंद हो जाती। जहाँ तहाँ ट्रक पकड़ाई है, जहाँ तहाँ थाना में जाके थाना मिलल रहे जाए घूस घास लेके गाड़ी छूट जाए, छूटलक तो थाने में से गायब हो जाए।
Well, going back to Maria, the same question about how the youth factor is likely to work or not for Tejasvi Yadav.
Look, Vandana, statistically speaking, the below 30-year-old are roughly 30%. So that's a huge constituency. And at the same time, the migrant workforce that has returned to the state are angry with Nitish Kumar because they say that in the neighboring state of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath arranged for buses to fetch his migrants home, but Nitish Kumar created these iron gates at borders and blocked the entry of migrants. So that is resonating in villages, particularly when the migrants say that Nitish Kumar abandoned his own people. They do talk about, however, the schemes of central government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and saying that they are beneficiaries of it. They're angry against Nitish, but they say that they feel that Garib Kalyan Yojana, which essentially provides them grains and lentils till the month of November, is something that has benefited them. So that is being talked about. Now, that is exactly the point. Can Prime Minister's charisma actually offset the negativity or anti-incumbency that is there against Nitish? So people may be unhappy with the state government when they see the larger umbrella of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Are they ready to take that gamble, or will Biharis look at as they have done in the past also, that there has to be one government at the center, another government in the state of Bihar. There is Prime Minister is good as the Prime Minister, but when it comes to the state of Bihar, they may choose somebody else. Now, coming to the question that you asked about how much is it resonating. In the university campus that I have been to from, Lalit Narayan Mithila University in Darbhanga to a university in Motihari, which is in East Champaran, students are talking about jobs. They are also remembering how Nitish Kumar on one occasion had said that Bihar is landlocked and hence job opportunities cannot be created. So there is a sense that Nitish may have delivered on multiple counts. Yes, he has delivered on Bijli Sadak Pani, but what after that? There has to be much more than that. But Vandana, over the course of my travel in the last 6 days, I did get one running theme as well, which is that there is a high percentage of voters which are silent, a significant percentage of voters who say that hum man nahi banaye hain, abhi kyun bata dein, which is essentially they do not wish to reveal their choice just as yet. So does it mean that this vote constituency is going to vote for status quo, or will they be voting for change? That is where the battle for Bihar will be decided. The silent voters who are of the opinion that they will be revealing only later. There are talks of change, there are talks of badlav, but that badlav, is Tejasvi really that change, or will Nitish Kumar be able to convince the people that as far as he is concerned, his work should be seen as work in progress. He has delivered and he will continue to do more if he is given another chance.
All right, Maria, thank you for joining us with your perspective on that story. Let's also bring in Amit Kumar, who joins us from Patna for more details. Amit, आज भी intense campaigning चल रही है बिहार में, back-to-back rallies हम देख रहे हैं सारे parties की ओर से. All right, we'll try and reconnect to Amit Kumar in just a bit. But like I was saying, back-to-back rallies in Bihar by all the main contenders in the state. Nitish Kumar has just concluded one rally. He has a couple of them lined up this afternoon as well at various constituencies. And we have BJP National President JP Nadda expected to address a rally in a short while from now at the Shram Kalyan Maidan, which is in Nalanda. He has rallies lined up after that as well. Devendra Fadnavis roped in for campaigning as well too. Tejasvi Yadav has a number of Jan Sabhas lined up all through the day. Remember, just a few days now to go for the Bihar elections to officially begin, which will take place in 3 phases. Elections to be announced, the results to be announced a few days after that. Nitish Kumar is battling anti-incumbency. Going back to Amit Kumar, Amit, back-to-back rallies हम आज देख रहे हैं बिहार में. Amit, if you can hear me, आज हम बिहार में back-to-back rallies, intense campaigning देख रहे हैं. All right, we'll try and sort out that audio issue with Amit in just a bit. But remember, the state is grappling with a lot at this point. Economic hardship on account of the coronavirus pandemic, especially on account of the huge migrant population. Employment generation is a major poll plank of all the parties. The RJD also released their manifesto just a short while from now, and they, remember, have promised 10 lakh government jobs to the youth of the state.
आर्टिकल 370 हटने का इंतजार देश परसों से कर रहा था या नहीं? आज ये लोग इस फैसले को पलटने की बात कर रहे हैं.
मेरा एजेंडा तो ये है, सामने मैंने रखा है. जिस वक्त हमारा ये एजेंडा वापस आएगा, हम उस एजेंडे को भी उठा लेंगे.
So-called political parties, the so-called political leaders of Kashmir, whether they be from the PDP or from the National Conference, they sometimes tend to be even more dangerous than the apparently identified separatist groups and separatist leaders.
Out after 14 months in detention, PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti now says her party won't raise the Indian flag unless they are allowed to raise the state flag of Jammu and Kashmir, which became obsolete after the abrogation of Article 370. The former Jammu and Kashmir chief minister expressed her anger against the centre, saying the people of Kashmir were not comfortable with the current regime in the valley. If that wasn't enough, Mufti says that she has no interest in fighting elections unless special status is restored. Addressing the media, the PDP boss placed the party flag and the flag of Jammu and Kashmir in front of her.
आज तक यहाँ के लोगों का खून बहा, अब मुझे लगता है हम जैसे लीडर्स के खून की बारी है. ये एक सियासी जंग है जो हम पूरा तरीके से लड़ेंगे, और इसमें मैं चाहूंगी कि हमें आपके साथ की भी जरूरत है. हम तो इकट्ठे हो गए. मेरा एजेंडा तो ये है, सामने मैंने रखा है. जिस वक्त हमारा ये एजेंडा वापस आएगा, हम उस एजेंडे को भी उठा लेंगे. मगर जब तक हमारा अपना एजेंडा डाकुओं ने डाके में ले लिया है, तब तक हम किसी और एजेंडे को हाथ में नहीं उठाएंगे.
We can't tolerate such statements. Jammu and Kashmir is India, and our flag is our Tiranga, our tricolor. महबूबा मुफ्ती के खिलाफ राष्ट्रद्रोह का मुकदमा दायर करके इनको जेल की सलाखों के पीछे बंद करना चाहिए. मैं जम्मू कश्मीर के माननीय उपराज्यपाल महोदय जी से निवेदन करता हूं, ओनली इंडियन फ्लैग, our national flag, Tiranga tricolor, can only be hosted in Jammu and Kashmir. We will sacrifice our life for our country, for our motherland, for our national flag, Tiranga.
That on the one hand, she claims to be the so-called mainstream politician of India. And on the other hand, she has reservations in carrying the tricolour, which happens to be the national flag of India. And this is what we have been maintaining for the last several years, that the so-called political parties, the so-called political leaders of Kashmir, whether they be from the PDP or from the National Conference, they sometimes tend to be even more dangerous than the apparently identified separatist groups and separatist leaders.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जो एजेंडा था कि धारा 370 खत्म करने का, वो हमने किया। एक विधान, एक निशान, एक प्रधान की लड़ाई 70 साल से चल रही थी, हमने की। अब ये सपनों की दुनिया में जीना चाहते हैं तो इनको कोई रोक नहीं सकता। ना तो धारा 370 कभी वापस आने वाली है, तो ना इसके बारे में इनको सोचना चाहिए। ये लाल झंडे की बात करना तिरंगे झंडे का अपमान है, और ये जो कर रही हैं ठीक नहीं कर रही।
महबूबा मुफ्ती हो और उसके जैसे बाकी कश्मीर के कुछ इने गिने नेता हो जो आज तक कश्मीर के नाम पर अपनी रोटी सेकते रहे, और वो उनकी रोटी सेकने का धंधा 370 खारिज करने के बाद बंद हुआ। उसका जो एक नैराश्य है, उसकी जो विफलता है, वो उनके बयान से बाहर आ रही है, और उनका असली भारत विरोधी चेहरा जो है वो भी सामने आ रहा है।
Union government cannot take their declaration for granted. Union government will have to engage with them because their statehood has been snatched. There is no elected state assembly. We should see how far we can engage with them in order to win their hearts and minds. This is for Union government. Union government should take note why these political leaders are so angry, starting from Mr. Farooq Abdullah.
Well, going across to Mufti, who joins us live from Srinagar for more details. Mufti, we just heard that soundbite of Jitendra Singh, Union Minister, actually likening Mehbooba Mufti to a separatist.
Absolutely. Look, since yesterday's press conference by Mehbooba Mufti, a war of words has broken between BJP and the PDP. Clearly, the BJP is now stating that, well, Mehbooba is a separatist actually when she says that she's not going to hold tricolour. But you know, the PDP is putting it other way. In fact, Mehbooba Mufti in that press conference did yesterday say when BJP fails on all fronts in terms of governance, certainly Kashmir issue comes handy. And she did say that for getting votes, now Kashmir issue was being used in Bihar. She was apparently referring to what Prime Minister Modi made a speech on Article 370, and then also Yogi Adityanath. She did say that while Yogi Adityanath was allowed to speak anything, including asking people to buy land in Jammu and Kashmir, the Kashmir leadership was not allowed. In fact, they were muted. And she said that, you know, Kashmiri leadership was, they were jailed. And in fact, she herself came after 14 months. But she did say that this is a long-drawn fight and all Kashmiri leadership is together. She was obviously referring that the leadership will be steadfast and come what may, they will strive for it. But you know, now that BJP has really demanded that there should be action, a seditious action taken against Mehbooba, the leadership here has said already that Farooq Abdullah being summoned now and then by Enforcement Directorate is in fact a political vendetta, perhaps indicating that the leadership here is willing to go that extra yard to strive for restoration of Article 370. So clearly, she said that she will fight a good fight.
Right, but at the same time, she has said that she is not going to be fighting elections. So if elections are ruled out, how will the People's Alliance for the Gupkar Declaration take their demand for the restoration of Article 370 forward, Mufti?
She said that she is not going to contest the BD election, which means that these are the municipal elections. She has said that the party will take a call, but as of now, she said it individually. She is not going to fight elections till Article 370 is returned, and precisely this is what Farooq Abdullah, Omar Abdullah and all the leadership, including Sajad Lone, had said. Now, what are the options before this leadership is that they are pining their hope on Supreme Court, and then they also hoping that BJP will go away at the center. That's why they've said that it's a long-drawn battle. They're saying that BJP is not going to be at the helm of affairs for eternity, and there would be a regime change, and they're willing to wait. In fact, Sajad Lon has said in a few of these interviews that well, Kashmiris are not tourists, they are here to stay. And actually what will change is that there would be change in government at the center, and then they have friends like, say for example, Congress. We also know that Chidambaram has quite candidly said that Article 370 and other special status should be returned to people of Jammu and Kashmir. So these leaders perhaps looking at looking at parties like Congress or like-minded parties with whom they will take up this issue. But certainly at this juncture, BJP has already said that this decision is cast in stone, and this won't be reversed. So all in all, a dogged fight launched by the Kashmir leaders, and they've said that they will stand by it and they will fight for it, even if it takes a long time.
All right, Mufti, thank you for joining us with those details. Cutting across now to some breaking news coming in. Well, this apparently is a new terror strategy by Pakistan, according to top intelligence sources. To maintain deniability, they've now come out with the idea of using Chinese drones. These drones use heavy weights of weapons, including AK-47s and other weapons. 3 AK-47s, 28 pistols, and half a dozen Mi-16 rifles have been dropped by these drones during June to October, and possibly some of them have also gone unnoticed. Intelligence agencies maintain that India is vigilant about this new technique all the time. Well, those are the details we have. Going across to our executive editor Anand Narasimhan for more. Anand, despite remaining in the FATF grey list only yesterday, that confirmation came in, Pakistan still continuing with their terror perpetration strategies.
True, but the fact of the matter is that they are trying to reconfigure or recalibrate given the pressure that they are in, because the next time they will not remain in the grey list, they will get into the blacklist. Amount of infiltration, or because more and more it is the cost of attrition is proving here, and also the international cost, and there is also heavy pressure on Pakistan to stop this. So the next modus operandi for them is to use these Chinese drones, which the Chinese are providing them, the Chinese military or the PLA is providing it to the Pakistani military, who are making it available to all the terrorists, because obviously this is state backed. What they are trying to do is use these drones to coordinate attacks. And perhaps even target locations and maybe drop some ammunition there. Secondly, also using it to ferry arms and ammunition to those who are already here. And then these attacks, the responsibility can be then claimed by terrorists on this side who are either infiltrated or who are already cultivated and who are here. And then they will try and portray this as a homegrown resistance, etc. Now, this is all because of the tremendous pressure that Pakistani agencies are on in terms of trying to swing the Kashmir narrative back ever since the application of Article 370 is concerned. The way Jammu and Kashmir is moving forward, the amount of development, the progress and the pace, and the fact that people are embracing peace, prosperity and tourism, and they are embracing full integration is something which is not palatable to Pakistan and its agencies, who have for at least 7 decades now, lived only on the Kashmir narrative. From 22nd October 1947, or in fact June 1947 onwards, till now, it's the only narrative that Kashmir for Pakistan, which perhaps is working for them politically. Nothing else is working for them, and we know the situation that Pakistan currently is reeling in terms of civil disobedience. So the fact of the matter is that this is what they are now going to try and do: reduce the human cost in terms of trying to push infiltration across the line of control and try and use drones. But yeah, our security agencies have wisened up to it. Huge caches of arms and ammunition have already been uncovered. Yes, there will be a few which will slip through the cracks, but the crackdown will happen and the vigilance is up. That is something the intelligence agencies, our own agencies, are assuring in terms of the security mechanism is concerned.
All right, so Pakistan's strategy being busted now by Indian intelligence.